So first of all, how do we install the library? So we might need to install multiple libraries. So we need to use the run command. And then what do we need to run? The way we installed our library. So we have installed it with pip, right? So I need the Google Client API, Google API client. So I'm just gonna copy it from here. This is the command I used to install my client. So I'm gonna use it. Now you need to pay attention to what version you're using. If you're using different version, you need to specify it when you install. Okay, so that would install the API client. Yes. Yeah. You use no your own client. No, my application uses this this library, so that's why I need to install it. Now, if you don't remember the application, it's the trendsetter application that tries to access YouTube, gets data from YouTube, and we have a mock to access the Reddit, but we didn't really. So if I did actually use it, then I will have to install it as well. No, you don't need to install the YouTube data API if you're not using it. You just install the libraries you're using in your application. Okay, now my application has dependency on the YouTube data API client, so that's why I need to install. Not only the libraries. If you're using pandas, you need to install it. If you're using any other library, you need to install it. Okay, so here in that simple example application, I only use the client API. So that's the only thing I need to install. Okay, now the other thing we need to do is to move all these code files into the container. Okay, so first of all, we need it's not necessary, but it's a good step is to specify the working directory. Now this operating system that will be executing when we run this container, it is Linux, so it takes you once you enter it, so once you run it, it takes you to the home page. Okay, so the working directory by default is /user. This is the home page. I mean the home directory. Now we want to create a directory for our application, right? So this work directory is pretty much like CD. So it creates a directory and steps inside of it. So I'm gonna call this hello, what's called trendsetters. That's my application. Okay. Now I need to copy my files into that. So we need the source and destination. The source is my file system in which it has my code. The destination is inside the container. So another file system. And because I already said work directory, I changed the work directory, I can just say the destination is dot, which means that the work directory inside the container, which will be that directory that I just said. Okay. Now, what is the source? What is it that I want to copy from my file system? I want to copy all the files that have the .py extension. That's my code. Okay, now we can specify directories, like this is just a path in a file system. Okay, now if you have subdirectories, you can specify them to be copied as well. Okay, so now I had all my files copied inside the container and I had the dependency installed. So that's all what I need from my to create my image. So if I save this and I need to step inside this directory. So I need to say docker build. So it's the same command. Okay. Tag. Now trend setters 2024. And from where? From here. So that should pull the Python image and then follow. You see, there are 4 instructions. It like went through the instructions one by one. Now, if I say Docker images, I can see that image right here, and I can run it. Docker run. So it should connect to YouTube data and get some data, and it should show me the results I'm expecting, I hope. All right. Now, knowing the command line, the manual operations is important, but luckily there is an extension on VS Code that makes the integration between Docker and VS Code easier. Okay, so if you go to extensions and then search for Docker, you will find this extension here. You can install it. I already have it installed. Okay, once you install it, it will appear here on the side. Okay, now if you look at it, you will see the list of the containers and the list of the images. So instead of having go to the command line, you can, like, it's easy access to the information. Okay, now you can also access registries if you want from here. Okay. Okay, so I can also, so here's my Docker file. All right, now we see the Docker file is recognized as a Docker file if you see the logo of the Docker. And if you try to say the right type of command, it will help you with the IntelliSense. If you make a mistake, it will give you like a highlight. Now, all the instructions, Docker instruction must be capital. So if I have it small, it will give you an error. Okay, if like if I say copy, for example, it will give me a hint on what needs to be done for the copy. Okay, so it is helpful, but you know, software is always glitchy. It's not always a smooth integration. It is important that you know the manual process in case the IDE like failed for one reason or the other. You know how to open the command line and do what you need to do. Okay. Now, actually, that was not the image I created there, but that doesn't matter. Okay, so if I want to create this image from here, instead of using the command line, I can just right-click on the Docker file and click on build image. It will build the image here. So I'm just gonna give this a different version. So version 2, for example. Okay, so if I want to know whether it was built or not, instead of listing, I can just look at the window here. Now there you go. So you have trend setters. Okay, there is the latest. Now let me see, where's the other one? Oh, this one I called it trend setters live. Okay, and it has version 2 as a tag as I specified. Okay, now I want to send it, I want to push it to the registry. We know how to do it with the command line, but it might be easier if I just connect to the registry from here. Okay, so I can do that. You see how many registries are available there? Docker Hub is just the most famous. Okay, so I can log into Docker Hub from here. Okay, so now I'm connected. All what I need to do is right-click on the version, like the image I want, and then push. It will automatically. So it will ask me, do you want to push it to Docker Hub? I say, I click on it to say yes. With this, so it will fix the tag instead of me trying to fix it with the command line, and then enter. Once it's done, we should be able to see it. So if I go there, oh, still. Where is my, okay. Here you go. So here is the image that we just pushed. Now you can always, like once you install it, you can download it, or you can pull it and run it. You don't have to install my libraries, or you don't have to worry about what is needed in order to run my application. You just run it through Docker. Okay, so that's what we're gonna ask you to submit in the final version. So we're gonna test your application this way. We just make sure to create the image properly, and we're just gonna run the image to test it. All right, any questions? Okay, so that's all what we have. The final application will be task 4 or will it be task 5? It's task 5, which is already there. Task 5. Task 5, you see it? It's on OWL. Yes. Task 4 was the testing, and then task 5 is just. All right, so that would be all, and that